Hey everyone, I want to give you a big welcome back. I want to start off by saying thank you. I noticed I reached 1,000 subscribers, 1,000 viewers. Thank you so much. Thank you for being so open-minded and open to discussion and open to follow these weird thoughts that I have sometimes and, express your own experiences with that. So thank you so much for being there. I love the fact that this is a community, this is my space online, but this is also part of the tarot community, and I feel that overall this community is really good at, lovingly challenging each other, which I feel is why I'm doing these videos. And all of these channels that I love watching also do that, so thank you for that as well. I've had some doubts figuring out what my next video would be. I think actually it's going to be a very simple, plain video explaining how I ground myself as an ex-dancer and now dance teacher, always having been in touch with my body my entire life and still am, and that is very important to me. I feel that grounding, especially now, would help a lot of people. If you don't like the approach that I have to it, which is really very simple, I feel, I hardly should even call that a technique, then look up something else that does align with your body, your senses, what you need right now. Figure out what you need and then what you want to do with it. I just encourage everyone right now to do some sort of grounding, centering type of exercises, or working with that energy. Today you can basically join me in that little personal process that I have, but I also want to talk about it a little bit. I feel this video in these times could be especially beneficial to the people out there who feel confused or overwhelmed or don't really know what to do. First of all, we need to, and I'm including myself in that as well, educate ourselves and learn about some thought patterns so we can break them and then adopt better ones. We kind of want to break the system, but also the system that lives within ourselves. So there's that. Or I thought this exercise could be helpful for people who, in all of this change, just need a little break. So I figured that could also just simply be helpful. So as I said, maybe not my way particularly, but I'm definitely not saying that you have to do it or you have to do it this way. But if this way doesn't work or doesn't feel well, then maybe this video can just act as a helpful reminder. Grounding to me is not only a healthy thing to do, it also engages something in your center that then acts like a compass. I had this thought today that the grounding is kind of like traveling into the star card for a little while in order to regain the strength we need to finish our work in the tower card, which we're all collectively experiencing now one way or another. The reason I feel that grounding and centering is always helpful is because my thoughts go like this. Right now, or actually always, but especially now, right, with all these things coming to the surface, educating oneself can only do good, so go do that, that's a priority, right? But with all that incredibly valuable as well as painful swords energy that's coming into our lives, it's good to also counterpart that with some grounding. And actually, something similar in my experience happens with the other active element, the element of fire, that this often comes from the heart. So it's good to acknowledge that in a loving way as well. But maybe there's another exercise for that, another intention you can do, I said I was going to talk about it before showing it, right? Honestly, the talk is much longer than actually showing the exercise, but I think that still is important because I like to draw you into the way that I think, to open up the conversation. This is not a monologue. This whole channel thing is not a monologue. It's supposed to, you know, I want to hear back from you. I want to learn from you as well. What I'm thinking is that it's not only about understanding with your brain. It's actually also about feeling it in your body. I think that it can only be helpful to try to find and kind of like fish out this compassion and active allyship and acceptance of responsibility a little closer to our instinct, our nature, our body. I'm not saying that we're not automatically doing that, but just in case, you know, it's good to have a little reminder and to be, to acknowledge that the body is wisdom too, the body. To really feel it in the body and to have an honest human truth that you actually feel and then afterwards can remember. I've realized that the usual calm person that I am, going back to self, finding that point of zero is the moment that I can step on the gas and go straight and certain for what I believe in and want to fight for. And of course I know in some cases it's all fire. I guess this video is either for the people who are tired and need something to not give up, or for the people who are unsure what to do. So, let's do it. Stand up if you can. Join me in whatever is possible and comfortable for you. Okay? A few more things. This is not about relaxing, it's rather about finding the absence of tension. So release. Not relax, but release. That's what makes the difference between getting ready for centered action versus getting ready for bed. This, I guess, in a way, is also a way to recuperate, and you can do this in 10 seconds or an hour, whatever you feel that you need. I'd say especially take the time, because this is now a time to feel. Feet are hip width apart, yeah? So that means that you're not standing too much like this and not with the feet together. The toes are pointing forward, and you could measure 1 foot width in between your feet. That usually works where it makes that your body is fully supported by the soles of your feet. And therefore your knees are also pointing forwards, are also pointing, you know, are also in the right position. Your hips are in the right position. And your spine, think of it like not in the middle top of your head, but rather in the middle back of your head, on top, like this part here. Think of it like the beginning and end of your spine, or rather in the line, in the alignment of your spine. From that point, think as if you were being suspended, and so there is support coming from the earth, but you're also just dangling and everything is falling into place from top to bottom. Yeah, so that alone gives a sense of release and not relaxed, right? Because you are trying to find the center, you are trying to ground yourself to be in the moment in order to make better decisions, in order to be more yourself, in order to speak your truth, and to actually also feel the truth in your heart, and to feel that we are all human beings, and to basically let your human instinct body tell you what is right, what is the right path, what to do. Let's go back to the practical things. So we bend the knees a little bit, and for that I'm going to just show you this side, because we don't only bend the knees. It's about staying aligned, realizing where maybe you would be slouching, you know, all those years in the school benches, where maybe like me, your shoulders are falling forward, maybe you need to just gently direct your limbs in the right direction. It's not about forcing and holding. We're not doing that. We're releasing the tension. And so in order to fix what isn't exactly aligned, gently direct it in the right direction. And for that also gently direct your head towards the ceiling. Gently direct your knees forward. So you're bending your knees, but by bending your knees, you're not only bending your knees, you're also bending your ankles. And you're also bending, this is the hardest one for most people, bending here. What's that called? The hips. So that you can see, maybe not though, because I'm wearing this onesie, which is the best thing to wear in summer, by the way. It's very comfortable. But you see that my back is still straight, and I'm still respecting that alignment of the spine. So it's really just putting action in the places that are necessary. Release the tension in the hips, release the tension in the knees, release the tension in the ankles, and direct your knees forwards. That's all. And with that, you're basically dropping your stomach down in the ground. And with that also, maybe, your heart. That is what we're trying to do. And this is all a lot of talk for very little action, but it's so different because grounding doesn't happen just like feeling the earth, right? It's about aligning within yourself, in your body, for yourself, and just even the thought, okay, I'm going to release my body of tension now. And gently correct. I don't like the terms fix and correct, okay? I have to find a better word for that. Gently, maybe I should just say what I said, gently direct the shoulders, if like me they're falling forward, gently direct them in the healthy, I guess, position, and then drop. So that's step one, I guess. Okay, with all of that, feel the soles of your feet on the ground. Preferably you're doing this outside barefoot on the grass. Now, as you can see, obviously I'm in my own home. I am barefoot, by the way, but not on grass. But I do have a carpet here with, how do you say that, high fibers? I don't know, I'll just put it in the screen. I love that I was able to add this very carpet, to my tarot table space, intention space in my home. It feels great when I'm walking around barefoot in my home. Kind of mimics the idea of grass. So if you have that in your home, you can't go outside, then maybe this is a good alternative, I guess. So, lightly bend your knees, don't forget to drop your hips, and release maybe even tension in the buttocks, release tension everywhere. I can go through everything, I can go through things you may not think about. Of course, the shoulders, the neck, the jaw, the stomach, the chest, the legs, the upper legs, the arms, all that stuff, the back. But then also release the tension in the tongue in your body. Release the tension behind your eyes. Release the tension maybe even in your ears. Release the tension in your forehead. Release the tension, the fingers, the hands. Release the tension in your toes. Feel the earth supporting you. Drop your heart. Bring your heart down. The way that I do that, if I only have 10 seconds especially, I just put my hand on my heart, and of course my hand has weight, right? Like everything. So that weight I just put on my chest, breathe out, and that just helps bring all that energy to the center. And it's nice to realize, I think, that it's been proven that we don't only keep memories stored in our brains. We also keep a lot of memories stored in other organs, and the heart is a part of that as well. Love this body. Share that love. We are opening the heart, opening the self, opening ourselves to ourselves, so that we can also make better decisions. And that doesn't only come from our intellectual side, that also comes from our human side, our loving side. I know you all know this. Don't forget that you are here in a body. Yeah? Don't forget that your body is a part of that experience, a part of that decision as well. Know what it is that you want, what it is you need to do, or what it is that you get to do. The emphasis now is on the heart, not from the mind. The mind are swords, and that can mean stress, negative, out of control energies, and it's okay to ask questions, have doubts, be confused, be angry. The body is here, though, to give clear signs what you need. But again, here, you need to listen. You are not only your thoughts. Feel here and now you are centered and you are in your body, and just by putting a hand on your heart and dropping it in the here and now, you're kind of making that space between your head, where the swords are, you could say, and your heart a little bit bigger. You're elongating that a little bit, and therefore you are bringing your heart down and centering yourself and grounding yourself, actually coming closer to the navel. The energy is in the navel, isn't it? We are also talking about the heart, but also that is all in alignment with one another. And I'm not going to go into chakras because I wouldn't know enough about it to incorporate in this video. But the navel is the sense of self. The navel is the power where we recharge. The navel is where our energy is. The navel is where our connection is. The navel is where our life force is. And the navel is where the God within resides. I didn't want to bring you with me in that whole, kind of like a meditation practice. This is just explaining the steps that you can do for yourself and get the most out of it in your own time, and do with it, what you will, what is helpful for you. Like I said, you can actually meditate in this way for as long as an hour, probably, and walk around like that and listen to what your body is telling you. And then also, I'd say, if there is something that you're confused about, take that moment. It doesn't matter how long it takes. It's just about taking that moment, making space for it, taking that moment to just go to that point of zero, is what I lovingly call it sometimes. I really do feel that analogy of the tower and the star card, it's like giving yourself that moment of, I'm going to the star card, because the star in the sky, right, it's kind of like a compass. It's telling you, are you still steering in the right direction? It's the star is where you want to go. What do you want? Is a good question that you can ask yourself in that state of absence of tension. And that makes you receptive to what your body is telling you, and then therefore easier to do the right thing with your actions. Kind of like finishing that analogy of moving back to the matter, the subject matter, the situation, the problem, the equation, the problem that is happening in the tower card, so that you can fix it with that idea of, where you want to go, where you need to go, what you need to do. And also it's freeing because you get to do that. The reason I call it a point of zero is because, like in my anatomy video about the bones, the structure of the bones, and a little detail regarding that, it's about going to that neutral state. I kind of feel that often, without realizing it, our truth by lack of a better term, our truth is being drowned out from all the noise that is coming from the outside. And sometimes, whether the noise is positive or negative, or however you perceive that, it's good to work with that you. Work with your own point of zero. It's quiet there. The calls to do the right thing, and then what that looks like, what that means, what that embodies, are clearer because the path is cleared. Again, whether you take an hour to do this and you feel it's great, or you take half an hour, or it's just a moment, or it's just one breath, it can be very helpful. And in any situation, because honestly, I do this and I sometimes forget, but I do feel when I do it, it's very helpful, and I remind myself of it every so often. I do this before a tarot reading, for instance, for myself, but especially actually for other people as well, because I can get excited, I can, listen to them, and there's that energy happening, and it's all great, and then I start, and then forget to go to that point of zero, and to actually realize what the messages of the cards are. Sometimes it's hard to properly read the message that is actually right in front of us, because we are in that higher frequency energy, that higher plane that isn't always necessarily helpful. We forget to go back to self and read from that inner knowledge that is, I think, is just simply a part of the process of, how do I say that, of understanding. Maybe that's the end of that sentence, of understanding. This may be a little bit spacey, but what I mean is that it's so cute, the dog that howls along with the ambulance. Hope nothing bad happened. What I was saying is that doing this eliminates the noise that comes from outside, and that therefore allows space for your inner voice. Or you could also say that the pace of your own heart is being drowned out. So that last one may be a little bit spacey, but I mean, whatever resonates with you, right? You can think the thought, but the tension that usually goes along with it isn't there anymore. So the tension in our minds can very much be compared to the tension we have in our shoulders, for instance. So actually you've just stripped yourself from the energies that are put on you, that come from the outside, and therefore you become more receptive of your own truth. Does that make sense? I know I didn't invent this. This is just my take on it. And I realize that, like I said, I warned you, the talk was way longer and way more a focus point now than the method itself. But still I wanted to share it because it does help me, and I know that it can help others as well. We are a whole being, and we are layered, and we are complex, and so sometimes it's nice to just realize what we are and who we are, and to realize that love is in this body as well. Love lives in this body, and love is created here, and love is passed through here to others. And I already said I am a hippie at heart, and if I had to put it in one word, it wouldn't necessarily be grounding. It wouldn't necessarily be centering. It would actually be love, because we are finding the love. And love is acceptance. Love is wisdom, knowledge, and sharing knowledge. And so the body is acceptance. The body is wisdom. The body is knowledge and sharing knowledge. I hope you get that. I don't really know how to end this video apart from saying, hope you liked it, hope it wasn't too long, hope it wasn't too vague. Let me just finish this talk by saying thank you, and I'll see you in the next one.